Chancellor Weaver, Sam Rutherford. I co-chair the Knoxville Bar Association Judicial Committee, and we are interviewing candidates for judicial positions in Knox County. And I want to thank you for agreeing to participate in this interview process. I have a few questions to ask of you, and if you would, at the end of those questions, you will also have time to make a closing statement. So again, I do appreciate your willingness to participate in this inaugural adventure of interviewing candidates.
Thank you, Sam.
Yes. First question. What do you believe makes you qualified to serve?
Sam, this may have been due to just being in the right places at the right times, but prior to initially being elected to Chancellor in 1998, I was able to had the privilege of serving as clerk and master for about 5 years. Prior to that time, I'd been special chancellor on and off for about 8 years. I served as a special master in Chancery Court, served as a receiver in Chancery Court, served as a guardian ad litem, a conservator. I even served as a bailiff at one time. And I tried lawsuits in the court as well, from small divorces to larger commercial cases. So by the time I had the privilege of being elected, and the blessing of being elected as a chancellor in 1998, I felt like I'd done just about everything a lawyer could do in Chancery Court. I also hope that my past almost 24 years is of some help as well.
All right. You certainly talked about what would be some of your strengths and weaknesses. Are there other things that you'd like to add to that?
Well, I think that to the extent I have a strength, it's my passion for Chancery Court practice, and that passion makes me compel. It makes me take nothing for granted. And to me, the smallest case in Chancery Court, the smallest no-fault divorce, is as important as a large commercial case between a couple of banks.
Well, I certainly agree. That's certainly the most important thing to the parties involved. No question about that. What do you think have been the most effective methods for improving court procedures and efficiency?
Well, I really think overall the most important measure is case preparation, and that goes for the judges and for the attorneys. And the procedures that we use there to kind of keep us on our toes, and again, that's for the chancellors and for the attorneys, are pretrial conferences and status conferences. I think also that in the courtroom, maintaining a polite and civil atmosphere, it helps all of us, and that goes again for the judges and for the attorneys, to exercise our skills at the highest level without unnecessary distractions and stress. And here again, I'm referring to stability among all participants in the courtroom: the judges, the attorneys, the witnesses, the parties.
All right. What additional improvements would you recommend for the future of our judicial system?
Well, I have a weakness there in that I may be overly cautious with innovation, but I believe that e-filing is coming, and if I'm objective about it, I have to be in favor of it as well. I think that's going to be a major improvement for access to the courts from home and from the office and from remote areas. And it may even help us as well, help judges with access to files.
What is the biggest challenge you see facing your court today and courts generally?
I think the biggest challenge now is probably maintaining respect for the courts, and that goes for not just this court, but courts in general. And that I'm not sure what causes disrespect, if there is in fact disrespect, if that is not a misconception. But I think we need to find out if there has been a decline in respect for the courts, and if so, what we can do to remedy that problem. Also, another problem that we have is scheduling, and scheduling is a greater problem now or task than it used to be, mainly due to mediation. Because today, as good as mediation is, we have to schedule around mediation, and mediation is so common in litigation that it's almost like scheduling around the biggest court in the world. But it's, of course, a good thing. I'm not trying to disparage mediation. I think it is a great thing, but we have to schedule around that, and sometimes that results in the cases being scheduled uh, off in the future more than what you would normally anticipate.
What are your judicial role models, or who are, I guess you'd say, and why?
My judicial role models are the four chancellors before me, and that's in the different parts, but the four immediately preceding me, and that's Chancellor Broughton, and I think that would be due to his decisiveness. Chancellor McDonald, that would be due to his stateliness. Chancellor Kate, his thoroughness, and Chancellor Bell, her firmness. I also had the blessing of being able to serve along with Chancellor Bell my first term. And I think I would have to add to that list, Sam. I would have to add Judge Stair, Bankruptcy Court Judge Stair, and that would be for his scholarliness, I think.
All right. That's a very good answer. Now is the time that we give each candidate a few moments to make a closing statement about your candidacy. If you have something further to add, please go ahead.
Well, I think about the best thing I can do is express my appreciation for having been able to live my dream, and it's been my dream to be a chancellor, and I've had the privilege of being able to live my dream. I love it and I breathe it. After 24 years, I'm still learning. It continues to be intriguing and challenging. I enjoy seeing the young lawyers that come in with their fresh knowledge and they have a thirst for experience, but I also enjoy seeing the older lawyers who have that tempered knowledge and tempered experience. And for better or for worse, I am totally devoted to our beautiful court, our Chancery Court.
Thank you. Thank you, Chancellor Weaver. Wish you the very best in this candidacy, and I guess we're done for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam.